Hello and good afternoon if you're in Australia, or good morning, good evening, based on wherever you are in the world. I hope my voice is visible, audible, I'm sorry. And this webinar is about cloud-based project management, what options are available and what you can do with it. In case if any of you could not see my presentation on your screen right now, please raise your hand or post it in the question section, and also check the audio icon in your GoToMeeting uh, basically control panel, and this may be the reason you may not be able to hear me. So basically this in this short webinar, it may take around 30 to 40 minutes. We'll discuss about what are the different options available for cloud-based project management, what are the different features which are most common among these, and what features actually differentiate among them, and what factors should you consider before opting for a cloud-based project management option. That's our agenda for today. So first of all, I will tell you that what exactly the whole thing is about. What do you need to do in order to opt for a cloud-based project management? What kind of features do you need to plan? And then we will see what kind of options are available, especially within Australia for cloud-based project management, how you can actually migrate from your existing implementation, which may not necessarily be cloud-based, or even if possibly if they are cloud-based, how you can move those to new cloud-based offerings. And then potentially some points which you need to take care of, and just the excitement of new technology may not necessarily be most optimal for you, so how you can basically utilize it for your own advantage and take the best out of the cloud-based project management. And finally, we'll talk about a bit part about data intelligence, because I believe that's one of the most requested feature by customer, and that's something which gives you a really valuable insight into your project management practices, especially for your higher management. So we'll see how we can take care of this particular aspect in online project management. So why cloud-based project management? I wouldn't say that this is absolutely necessary. You can still go with project management basically without a software solution if you have less than 2 projects, for example. But if you really want to organize your project management processes, and you want to show it to your management that how good or how bad your projects are doing, or even if you're doing good, how improved your project management practices are, you most likely need a project management software. And then project management software have been in the market for last 10 years or so, but there have been many hurdles for organizations to utilize them. And cloud-based project management is an option which basically solves quite a few of those hurdles. So for example, cloud-based project management is it's an option to give you location independence. So your employees could be traveling, they could be on customer sites, they could be meeting with vendors, they could be traveling anywhere, and they could still be able to access your cloud-based solution. That's basically advantage with any cloud-based solution, not necessarily project management, but that's there with online cloud-based project management solution as well. And then I think it's pretty obvious for any cloud-based solution that it's price affordable. So your capital expenditure is very less, in some cases basically none if you're not paying anything upfront. So you don't have to invest in your hardware or software, or basically any kind of upfront investments in contract management and other stuff. You could, in most of the cloud-based providers are offering free trials or 30-day trial or 90-day trial. So you can actually start using the system without paying anything upfront. And not only is just the affordability part where you can cover the cost of managing this software through your OPEX, but it's also scalable, which means that you can start small, and then if you like the software, or if you want to expand it, you can gradually increase your user base and price will be adjusted accordingly. And then not only that, but you're not actually locked in with the solution. So if you don't like the solution, you can dump it, and usually if you are not in a long-term contract, most of the online providers basically tie you in for a year-long contract at most. So there's a lot less to lose than any traditional on-premise implementation where you implement it through through some vendor, and you invest a lot in long-term software licenses and the hardware, which is at least being planned for 3 to 5 years of usage, and it's really hard to take a decision to dump all of this in, let's say, 6 months or 1 year of usage after. So that's another advantage. And then since it is location independent, it is also sort of employee independent as well. So as long as solution is cloud-based and it is accessible from internet, you can actually involve people who are not exactly part of your organization, but really collaborate with you on day-to-day basis. These could be your customers, your vendors, and most cloud-based solution actually make it very easy to share your project management information with other people and you can actually decide who are going to get access or with whom you want to share this information with. These days, there's a lot of focus on mobile independence, device independence, so your people can access the information through tablets or mobiles. And most on-premise project management solution also offer this option. But remember that even if your on-premise solution has this capability available, there has to be some mechanism through which your solution should be accessible over the internet or a private VPN cloud or some other mechanism by which people could access it even if they are not on your organization's network. With online solutions, this particular technical requirement has already been taken care of, so making it available for mobile-based devices is not only easy, but most online project management solution providers have already optimized their solution for device independence. So they may have different screens optimized for tablet or device usage. They may have synchronization of tasks with your favorite Android or Apple-based device. So all of this is already available for you. And then if you want to utilize a solution in the long term, you really don't have to worry about upgrades and patches. And those of you who are utilizing enterprise level software for quite some time would know that how difficult sometimes it is or how much investment it requires in terms of human resources just to manage the upgrades and patches of solutions and potential implications if you don't do that. So online solutions basically take this headache away from you, and then they guarantee you that you are always going to receive the latest and greatest in the technology, and they will take care of upgrading the process and providing new features all the time on either scheduled basis or maybe on ad hoc basis if required. And along with the price, the second thing is the user scalability. So if you want to add another department, another team, or another group of users, it's as easy to at the moment when you started the solution. If you want to add more users, just pay for some extra users, and most online solution providers will happily accept that. And then if you want to reduce the user, that is also possible. So you may start big, and then but for some reason you identify that some of them don't want to utilize your solution. It's not that the licenses purchased for those users or the hardware purchased for those kind of scalability would be wasted. You could reduce the number of users and you would still be good to use the solution. Your price and your operational expenditure would be reduced. For example, one of our customers, they utilize project management solution to basically optimize their processes and basically do a lot of savings on their project management processes. And one of the victims of this optimization and savings was our on-demand offering itself. So after using the solution for 3 years, they realized that probably the same kind of process can be carried with 2/3 of users. So basically 33% of users were not required to use the solution anymore, and they reduced the user base, which is actually resulting in 33% cost savings for this particular organization. Also, online solutions are very easy to integrate with social media these days. So if you have a Yammer or Facebook or Twitter and you want some sort of information to be published on these social networks easily, may not necessarily always, because the information could be sensitive, but if you want that, that's also possible and readily available through online solutions. Start using the solution if you decide in the morning that you want to use a project-based online solution. You can go online, and just as long as you have a credit card with you, it usually takes few minutes to sign up for these solutions, and you can actually start again right away. Although I would not necessarily advocate doing that. There should be a good sort of planning involved in that, but that's something which we will discuss about in later slides. But theoretically speaking, you can actually start in a few minutes using any system. And if a trial-based offer or if there is no upfront payment is required, you can actually evaluate the solution for a few days, and then you can decide whether you want to continue using that or not. And remember, when you invest for hardware and software, it's not just the one-time investment. There's a considerable human and financial investment required to make sure that this hardware or software will continuously be available for your employees, at least most of the time, if not all of the time. But when you are using an online solution, this guarantee comes from your solution provider. So they make sure that the solution will be available most of the time, depending upon the criticality. There's again something which you can opt and you can choose. So you can basically purchase higher availability plans by paying more money, or you can say that, okay, maybe I'm happy with 90 if my solution is available 99% of the time, and it's fine if it is not available 99.999% of the time, and then this could impact your pricing accordingly. Availability is one thing, and second is disaster recovery. So you really don't need to worry about your data being wiped out due to some disaster or some accidental usage by some user, or even if you delete something. Most online solution providers take care of backing up your data all the time, and usually these data centers are distributed across the world. So even if one of the data center does not work for some reason, the data is available somewhere else in the world as well. This could be a concern as well, but we'll discuss about that later. These online solutions are usually browser-based solutions, and since most of the people are very internet savvy these days, and most applications are coming to a standard based user interfaces on how to utilize and how to show your information to your users. So typically for these online solutions, the learning curve is pretty small, and unlike the desktop application where you need to invest heavy time in training your users on just the look and feel and getting familiar with the solution, you could actually focus on training users on most on probably the business aspects of the solution rather than the getting started and getting familiar with the look and feel part. And since the solution is online, they usually do not allow or they discourage you to store data locally on your machines. So as an advantage of that, all your data is stored centralized in a centralized fashion. If your employee leaves tomorrow, his data doesn't go along with the employee. It's available in your online solution. It's available to be accessed by the people who should have access to that particular data. So yeah, there have been plenty of advantages of cloud-based project management solution, but you should be aware that there are a few things which it cannot provide, and because of that, you may want to consider a solution which is hosted and implemented within your own premises. First and foremost is data security. So because a solution is available online, it means it's on the internet. It means it's visible to far more people than it may be intended to, and which makes it more vulnerable to more attacks by viruses or other malwares or basically any kind of malicious software. So that's one concern. Now remember, it does not mean that your on-premise software is more secure, but you have more control over your on-premise software, and you can possibly make it more secure than you want it to be. But on the flip side, if you do not have right kind of resources to make your servers and data secure on-premise, you may want to actually offer an online solution, because these are very reliable companies and usually are more experienced with securing both servers and data. Having said that, I mean, yeah, data does get compromised. You do know that it has happened in just last 12 months, where LinkedIn user accounts were compromised, Twitter accounts were compromised, even Apple developer center accounts were compromised. So your data is not really 100% secure, but yeah, depending upon your skill set, it could be more secure with online solution provider than yourself. But security is just one issue. It's also about the privacy of your data, which I think it is a pain point for quite a few customers, where they really don't feel comfortable that their information is being hosted with someone else, and how do they ensure that this information will not be revealed to anyone who is not intended to have a look at that particular information. So privacy is another issue, and again, it's not something which can be guaranteed all the time, but I think you can utilize uh, non-disclosure agreements or other confidentiality agreements with your service provider to give you a peace of mind. And based on my personal experience, I would say that even the on-premise solution, if you really plan that your data will never leave your own premises, but if you do not have the right kind of technical skills, privacy could still be a concern. I have seen it hundreds of times where customer really want to protect their data, but some external vendor come to do some job, and because of lack of proper security protocols or because of lack of technical expertise, they have to provide access to their data to the vendor, and then it's really up to the vendor whether he takes the data with him or not. And then keeping privacy aside, data access could be a problem for your own self as well. So when you access an online application, all you may receive is it's possible that you just see the features or the screens using user interface, but you may not directly access your data in terms of a database or an XML or an Excel CSV file, and this could be a concern because you may want to utilize that data beyond what is intended by an online solution provider. You may feel that you want to integrate this data with one of your on-premise line of business application. A typical project server usage is that you may want to utilize timesheet information with your financial system, could be ERP, or your customer information from your CRM system to project server, or your HR information, payroll and other stuff with your resource information in project system. So if you do not have the data access directly or indirectly, this may become a problem for you. And then if you are utilizing one of the existing project management solution or one of your, let's say, the solution which is not intended for project management but is still serving the purpose by some means, for example, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Project, or any system, you may not have the option available by vendor to migrate this data to a cloud-based solution. And then if for some reason after a year or two you want to switch back to on-premise solution, data migration could be an issue there as well. Online solution is an online solution, which means that it is really reliant on internet connectivity. And you may feel that probably in this modern era this is not a problem and it is available everywhere. But trust me, in some remote locations, in some regional areas, or basically when you are traveling through a subway in Sydney, for example, you will not have an internet connection, and at that stage you may want to work offline. So if some of your employees are working on remote locations where internet connection is either not available, or if it is available but not really reliable, you may face an issue. And I, being a project server user, really find it frustrating when an application is not available to me online because of connectivity issues, and this could actually discourage your users to utilize the solution at all, even if it is not available, let's say, just 20% of the time. Now these solutions and these online solution providers, which we'll have a look at detail shortly, they may provide you collaboration, they may provide you task management, to some extent project management or document management, but the question comes in, is it really MS Project? And the reason for that is that Microsoft Project Professional client-side desktop tool is undoubtedly the king of project schedule management. I have even seen customers who are utilizing some non-Microsoft enterprise software for enterprise project management, and yet they use Microsoft Project for their individual scheduling requirements for most of the industries. And they even come with questions that, yes, we want to migrate to Microsoft-based solution, but can we, but is it possible that in the interim time can we still use Microsoft Project and then move our enterprise-based data later as well? So You may have an online solution which is good for basic project management or basic collaboration, but I think it is important for that solution to be integrated with Microsoft Project desktop tool, because that's the most comprehensive project management tool, and most organizations who do beyond very basic scheduling, beyond milestones and tasks, would definitely require Microsoft Project for your day-to-day scheduling needs. Now, there are plenty of online options available for project management. Citrix has an option which is basically free for up to 5 employees, and beyond that, it costs you $15 per employee per month. Basecamp is another tool which is optimized. They have a very optimized screens to be utilized from tablets and mobiles. It is very easy to show this project information to your vendors and customers using internet access, and it's basically they have the charging model is based on number of projects and not number of users, which is good for organizations who are working on very few projects. And as you can see, it's just $1 a day for up to 15 projects. And then if you're a kind of organization who really care about milestones and where the milestones are, and you just want to track the progress, Milestone Plan is another tool. And who would have thought that Sugarsync, which is actually a synchronization tool which takes your photos and data to an Apple or Android device, does actually offer project management solution as well as part of the overall package. It's a bit expensive though. Similarly, Salesforce is also known, or I would say very well known, to be an online CRM solution provider, does also have a bit of task management and project management option available. And basically these are just a few providers. If you have a look at internet, you would find many more. Some of them would be very easy to use, and you would just start with the solution with built-in reports, but at the same time those solutions would be not as flexible as you would want them to be. And some of the solutions are very flexible but would require a lot of planning to start with. For the purpose of practical usage, I would say that most of the customers, as we discussed in the previous slide, they would need Microsoft Project for their scheduling needs. And it's great if your entire enterprise project management solution is based on Microsoft-based technologies. And there are, in Australia, you have two major options for that. One is Microsoft Project Online or Microsoft Office 365. So basically, Office 365 is based on Microsoft Office, SharePoint, Outlook, Link, and basically the productivity suite of applications. It does not have Microsoft Project Server included, but you can still do some basic task management and project management using SharePoint alone. And this could possibly be integrated with either hosted Microsoft Project or your on-premise locally purchased Microsoft Project client applications. But if you want to do a full-fledged enterprise-based project management, you are most likely going to need Microsoft Project Online. And based on similar technology, we have an Australian hosted offering called EPM On Demand, and it has two major flavors, which is our cloud and your cloud, and I'm going to explain it in detail later. But this is actually based on Office 365 and Microsoft Project Online, so it offers everything which is there in Microsoft Project Online with some additional features, which we'll talk about shortly. Okay. This is the feature set which is offered by Microsoft Project Online. Not all the online solution providers give you these features, but I would say that there would be very few who offer something beyond that. This particular wheel of features, if you may say, is basically based on what has been requested and utilized and appreciated by customers since 2003 version of Enterprise Project Management by Microsoft. So this basically covers most functional areas a typical enterprise organization requires for project management. Starting with portfolio and analytics, this is basically when you have a portfolio of projects which may or may not be in flight. This could be possibly project planning phase, or this could project initiation phase, or business case development, or ideas development. So how to prioritize your ideas and how to align them with your business goals and how to select the most optimal projects. That's the portfolio management module. Then you have resource management, to utilize your resources in most efficient manner. You don't over allocate them. You don't have your schedules where your resources are working for 16 hours in the day, but at the same time you do not under allocate them as well, and you achieve 80 to 90% of your resource utilization, not only for your project based work but non-project based business as usual support related work as well. Scheduling, which takes care of all the dependencies between various tasks or multi-project tasks, or basically other dependencies based on vendors, customers, etc. Are taken care of through schedule management. Financial aspects, so OPEX of the project, CAPEX of the project, vendor cost, hardware cost, traveling cost, and basically invoicing and payment related to those financials of a project are being managed in the financial module. Although you may want to integrate this particular feature with your ERP because it's not really a full-fledged ERP, but you can manage your project-related costs here. Along with any project, there's a part of collaboration involved. So it's not just the scheduling and the resources and the costing, but you want to manage the documents, you want to manage team discussions, you want to have issues and risks and deliverables and discussions and steering committee review meetings and notes of those meetings, etc. All of this is managed through collaboration. And good news about Microsoft Project is that it actually relies on a proven platform of Microsoft SharePoint to take care of the collaboration part. Now, once all of this is done, maybe it's the middle management or the PMO who is doing all of this stuff. But what steering committee or the executive management really cares about is what is the performance of your project, and that's where business intelligence and reporting comes into play. Not only to show that what you are doing, but it may help you in improvising your processes, and it may even help you in forecasting your future performance, to analyze the demand of the work and the kind of resources which would be required to fulfill this particular kind of work as well. So this is basically the whole feature set which you should expect from a good online project management system. And yeah, I mean, if you have very few projects, very few people, this may be an overkill to have solution of that size, and you may do well with just basic milestone management or some online task management using SharePoint list or Excel, but most of the enterprise level organizations do need these kind of features. All of those features were available in Project Online, but at the same time there are some limitations in Microsoft Project Online. First of all, you do not get direct data access because this is an online solution and the data is hosted in data centers of Microsoft, and they do not allow you to access those SQL databases by any direct method. There are some indirect methods available using OData data feeds, which is relatively new technology and is still not as powerful as accessing it through SQL reporting services. There are some limitations, and there is a learning curve involved with that as well. This also means that if you already have invested in on-premise Microsoft project-based solution and you already have some reports developed in SQL reporting services, you may not be able to migrate those reports on Project Online in any straightforward manner. Second thing is it does not allow access you to OLAP cubes, which are again part of the data and part of SQL Server. So any analytical reporting is not possible to a good extent in Microsoft Project Online. So if you really want to drill down into your data and you want to see that how much cost is associated with each location of your project, and within each location how much cost is associated with each individual resources, which resources are working above their utilization target and which are underutilized, you could have a static snapshot and you could do some basic analysis using the data available through OData, but it's not really a full-fledged analytical tool to basically explore the data and explore the data patterns within your usage of Project Server. What is also not available is that you cannot have a backup of your data. Microsoft will take the backup. Microsoft will take care of that, which I think is great. But if for any reason you want to have a copy of your data, there is no direct way but then this data is available through OData and other programmatic interfaces through which you can write the code and retrieve this data on a scheduled basis. So you would basically need a partner or your in-house development resources to access your data for backup or any other purpose as well. And since that data is not directly available, it's really not easily integrable, or there is no out-of-the-box integration with your on-premise applications such as SharePoint or Exchange. So if you want to utilize document management, you have to utilize the online version of SharePoint. You cannot really say that I will store my project-related documents on-premise while utilizing the other project management features using Cloud tool. The pricing I'm showing here actually could be a bit misleading because this is not available in Australia as of speaking this. It was available in Australia until a couple of weeks ago, but for some reason if you go to the official project website now, Microsoft says that the project online is coming soon to Australia and they don't have any official pricing as of now. So the pricing I'm showing you is actually for United States and Europe, and it could potentially be quite different for Australia once it's relaunched for Australian region. And you can see that there are three options, and the option which contains all the feature is Project Online with Project Professional. So you get all the powerful feature of scheduling with Project Professional, along with online collaboration and project management features of Project Online, and that's approximately $58 per month per user, but you have to have a minimum contract for a year. Remember that this is not the latest pricing for Australia. So I have provided a link in my presentation which I can share with you. Just post that in the questions section if you want to have the full URL address for this link, and you would need to check that site if and when the Microsoft Project Online will be available in Australia. EPM on Demand is a service offered by EPM Partners, the organization that I work for, and this is based on Microsoft Project Server, the same technology offered by Microsoft Project Online, but the difference is that this is actually hosted and managed by EPM Partners within Australia on Australian hosted servers. So all the features which are available in Project Online are available in EPM on Demand, but since it's EPM Partners and not Microsoft which is controlling these servers, we have the flexibility to offer a bit more features and circumvent some of the limitations which are in Microsoft Project Online. So these servers, if for any reason you want a direct access to the databases, we can arrange that because we have control over those servers. And then one of the key features of project, which is reporting based on SQL reporting services, and that's something which is very difficult to achieve in Project Online, is available with EPM on Demand offer. In fact, we have some ready suite of reports available within EPM report pack, and I'm going to show you some of those reports are also available on server. Now, if you really want the flexibility of your on-premise solution, and at the same time you want to avoid all the headaches of managing your hardware and your software, we have an offering called Your Cloud. In this particular solution, since it's the server dedicated for you, it's not going to be shared by any other customer, so the data on that server is only yours. You would have access to that data, and as long as connectivity to that servers are ensured, you can actually do anything which you could do with your on-premise solution. So you can integrate the solution with your Active Directory. You can do that with your integrate with your Exchange, Team Foundation server, or basically any online application, because you will have direct programmatic access to those servers. But then, of course, it will come with the cost of dedicated hardware for you. So there will be a cost of hardware involved, but the cost of management is something which will be shared, because our resources will be managing those servers and other servers, and we'll take care of all the infrastructure related part of that particular offering. And then at the same time, we have another offering called Our Cloud, which is basically shared services and shared servers among multiple tenants. And here you can take advantage of the shared resources within the same hardware, and because of that reason the cost of this particular offering is much less. but at the same time, since it's a shared environment and because of the security or the concerns, you may not be able to have as much access to the data as you could have in your dedicated environment. Having said that, as far as direct SQL-based data access is concerned, this is available in both the offerings. I said this is the first online Microsoft project-based offering in Australia, but this doesn't mean that this is new. So we have been offering this service for the last 4 years now. As you can see on the screens, there have been quite a few Australian organizations who are utilizing this solution. This is just a snapshot. There have been now around 30 customers which are utilizing EPM on-demand service in various flavors. And this include government-based organizations, this include financial organizations, educational organizations. So basically from various industries, people are using this service. In fact, some of our customers are outside Australia, and they are also utilizing the service. I hope you're excited with the prospect of having an online solution, easy to start and with quite a lower cost than a traditional on-premise solution. But I would really want you to be aware of a few things which you need to take care of before you really dig deep into an online project management-based solution. So features are available, and you may be tempted to start big, and that's the case with the on-premise solution, where you really want to plan for next 3 years and 5 years of usage, and you want to commit heavily in your hardware and software. What I want to say that since it's an online solution, it can be scaled anytime for more users or more features or maybe more complex integration requirements. Since you have that flexibility in your hand, maybe it's good for you for not starting big right away and make it difficult for your users to adjust to something totally different. So you can start with this basic solution and see what kind of value it brings to your organization, and then you can gradually improve on that. And since it's an enterprise class software, and just because the ease of managing that software has been taken away from you does not mean that the business-wise or functionality-wise it's an easy-to-use software. It is very important to have defined requirements and have a help of some consultant who is already experienced in implementing these kind of solutions. So you know that what you're going to implement is really going to benefit your organizations. There are literally dozens of project management methodologies available, and there are like hundreds of ways to implement those methodologies using software. And it would be useful if you utilize a software implementation consultant who is experienced in this domain to help you define the requirements and help you achieving those goals, at least in the initial phases of implementation, till you are capable enough to manage the requirements by yourself. And then do not emphasize more than what is required on your processes, because software is not going to take care of everything. There would be cases where you would need to talk to people, you would need to follow some non-software based process. So do not try to fit in everything into the software. I have seen that as a major point of failure in some of the project management based implementations. So it's basically true for your on-premise or online based solutions. So really, I think you should see what is available in the software and do a bit of adjustment. Yeah, it goes against some of the old sayings, but I would say try to be flexible with your process and see how best this could marry with what is available from the technology side. And another important thing is the training part. So 90% of the people I have met and asked that, do you know Microsoft project and how to work with that, 90% of them have said yes. But then when I have started doing the proper training, a day or 2 day training for them, I realized really a big majority of them does not really know how to work with that. So you may feel that you know what the system is about, but training makes a big difference, and it also gives the confidence to your user that the kind of scenarios or kind of functionality he wants to extract out of the system are possible, or if not possible, what is the closest possible functionality available. And training could be different for different kind of people. So your resource managers or your end users or your project managers, all of these would require different kind of training. So make sure it is part of your implementation plan, even if you are planning to utilize an online system. And this is my last slide on this topic, and then we'll move to Q&A section. Data intelligence, it's one of the features of project management, and it was part of the features wheel which I showed you earlier. But the reason I have given you a dedicated slide here is because I feel that this one particular feature can really convince your management to have project management solution implemented. It is one of the most valuable features of any project management based solution, for you to know what are you doing, how good or bad you are doing compared to your own practices in the past or compared to other organizations, and how you can improve and basically create your targets and try to achieve those targets as well. Now in EPM on demand based project management solution, you can have 4 major reporting areas which I have mentioned on this slide, and I will give you an example of all of these. So first is called project center views, and on my slide you can see that without actually doing any specific reporting or without telling the system saying that I need some sort of a report out of it, when you go to your project system and just have a look at all the projects in your organization, you see a lot of information. So you could see that how your projects are doing in terms of risks associated with those projects, what are the different dates with those projects. You can see that in the Gantt chart view. You can categorize your projects based on where they are in terms of workflow, or you can categorize those projects based on sponsors, based on project types, based on locations, etc. So this is one of the very basic views, and I'm sure that most online project management solutions providers give you. But at the same time, you also need a very flexible and powerful reporting tool which could actually show you anything which you want out of that system. And most providers I have seen create some pre-built reports and then ask you to utilize those reports for your requirements. And just like every organization's project management process have something different than standard, same is the case with reporting requirements. There is always something different you want to do with your reports which may not be available with those reports. And that's where a consulting partner comes to help you. So if you opt for an EPM on demand based reporting, EPM on demand based project solution, we offer you not only a readily available report pack, but we also provide you an option to customize those reports based on your requirements, either by us, or if you have developers available in your organization, you can actually utilize direct data access facility of us and develop the reports by yourself. So on your screen, you may be able to see some example reports. So there's a report which is telling you how many timesheets have been submitted, how many have been approved, how many have not yet started, how many are awaiting approval, etc. And then you could have analytical reports. For example, you can see a pivot table on this screen, and this is showing you the resource utilization on monthly basis. But since it's an analytical report, you can actually drill down into individual week or individual day, or you can drill up based on any particular year or any particular group of resources as well. So these are some of the examples of the report. One more report I want to show is the project highlight report. Again, very traditional, very typical report requirement, but at the same time, every organization has something unique required in this particular report based on what is really required by the executive management and what exactly is critical for that particular organization. Some care about finances, some care about resources, some care about timelines, some care about organizational objectives, etc. And based on that, your developers or us can actually tailor and customize these kind of reports for you. This is an example of readily available report with EPM system. So you could actually utilize some readily available reports. For example, this is for resource availability, or you could use us for some of the custom reports as well. And also, as long as you have access to your analysis cubes on EPM on-demand environment, you can create some analytical reports like the one you are seeing on your screen right now. So I could take a look at a particular project, and then I can see the total cost of the project, and then I can see that how this cost has been broken down into an individual resource, and then for that particular resource how much cost is associated for that resource, along with basically levels of task, level number 3, level number 4, etc. These kind of reports requires SQL analysis services based cubes, which are not available in Microsoft Project Online based offering. So basically this was a Project Online and Microsoft Project based EPM on demand offering overview from my side. Basically I'm done from my side, but feel free to ask any questions which may be in your mind. So no questions here apparently. I'll wait for 30 seconds, or I'll post my email address. So if you have any questions even after attending seminar and something comes to your mind after that, you could ask me that, and I'll be happy to answer you over the email. Let me type my email address in the chat window. And for those of you who don't know how to have a look at the chat window in your GoToMeeting session, I will put my email address on the PowerPoint slide as well. So yeah, so that's my email address where you can contact me, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Okay, so there are no questions for now. Thank you very much for attending this session. I hope it would have given you some value. You would have get some value out of this session. And feel free to contact us if you have any questions after this seminar. Thank you very much. Thanks, Maggie.